Welcome back to Raccoon Shitty, where it feels like I'm stuck in a goddamn loop. I'm Thomas, back once more with my co-host Frank to talk about the next film in the series, 2017's animated film, Resident Evil Vendetta.
In October 2015, after nearly 3 years of silence since the last animated film, it was announced that Marza Animation Planet was planning a complete reboot of the CG animated Resident Evil films. Like Digital Frontier, who produced the first two CG animated Resident Evil films, Marza Animation Planet is a Japanese animation studio that specializes in creating CGI cutscenes for games. Some of the games they've worked on include the Sonic series, Super Monkey Ball, Yakuza 0, and some Hatsune Miku games. That's all Sega stuff. I don't know if you knew that.
Even Hatsune Miku?
Yeah, they don't own her like outright. They make her games, the Project Diva games. Before this film, they made two others, Space Pirate Captain Harlock and Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15.
And when I was hovering over the link for the page of Space Pirate Captain Harlock, the pop-up preview said, it's the most expensive animated movie ever in Japan and was considered a box office flop. So I think this movie might be in good hands here.
Oh yeah. The only person announced to be returning from the Digital Frontier films was producer Hiroyuki Kobayashi. With the announcement, there was a short blurb revealing that Chris Redfield, Leon Kennedy, and Rebecca Chambers would appear in the film. This is Rebecca's first canon appearance in 15 years.
Yes, and this is Zero, right?
Yeah, which was in 2002, and then this is 2017. So that's pretty nuts. Like, the only time she's ever appeared since then is, like, in re-releases of 1 and 0, or the Light Gun games, or Mercenaries mode in, like, 5 and Mercenaries 3D.
Yeah, 15 years is a long time to not appear. Honestly, surprised that she came back after that amount of time.
Yeah, it's nuts. Still hasn't been playable. I mean, I guess in Mercenaries she has, but, like, she has not been featured in a new game. A new story since 2002.
And she never will be.
Probably not. I would be shocked.
And while the phrasing of their earlier quote of saying it's a complete reboot is confusing, I think it's supposed to be meant to be like a complete reboot of the crew making the film. I'm not sure if it's like a translation error, but like they were really up in arms when they said that. News articles were like, they're rebooting Resident Evil?
Oh, yeah. I guess that would confuse people, yeah. But no, this is the same continuity as the games and the other CG movies, yeah, for sure.
I think I also read something saying that they kind of also meant like a tonal reboot, although I don't know if I'd say this is too tonally different from the other films.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd agree with that either.
In March of 2016, the title of the movie was announced to be Resident Evil Vendetta, and it was also announced that there would be a collaboration between the film and Ducati, as Leon would ride the Ducati X Diavel in the film. And I think it's hilarious that they do this, because between this and Leon's Porsche, and then the Hamilton watch collab for RE9, it's just really funny that Capcom does these really weird high-end collabs that are unrealistically attainable for the majority of the audience.
Yeah, it is really weird. Like, you'd see other games do collaborations with stuff that's way more affordable. Like Yakuza, for example, which we just mentioned, will have like Mountain Dew or something, or 7-Up in the vending machines in the game. Yeah. Like, who is this for? Like, what is the purpose of getting your name in the game? Like, how many players are actually going to be able to afford a Ducati bike?
And, like, I know it's probably partly just for, like, the company, but they do, like, produce some of them at least, I'm pretty sure. Like, because I know the Hamilton watch, they made those, which I guess is a bit more obtainable than, like, a Porsche. But, yeah, you'd think that they want to appeal to more, like, realistic branding.
Yeah, I just looked it up, and the Ducati X Diavel is about $29,000 starting price.
Okay, that's cheaper than I would have thought.
But still $29,000.
Well, they couldn't have him riding a Vespa.
They should have. I think that would have been very funny. In an interview with Hiroyuki Kobayashi, he revealed that he wanted Leon to be the main character, with other producers wanting Chris. So those two were already determined to be in the film. And when they needed a female lead, he asked to bring back Rebecca, and the other producers agreed. The plot of the film takes place in 2014, canonically after the events of RE6, which helped indicate how the story itself would play out, as it didn't necessarily have to connect to any games that were coming out, since RE7 was so disconnected from the rest of the franchise. And since Rebecca hadn't been seen in a very long time, they liked that the film gave them a chance to see how she matured and changed. since the events of the first game, which would have been like 16 years ago in the timeline.
How old is she in the first game?
I think she's supposed to be like very early 20s. Let me look it up.
Because I feel like I also remember her being like the youngest member of the team. Although I could be wrong because I haven't played it. So
Okay, she's 18 in RE1 and RE0. That's nuts. When did Wesker take that basketball picture?
Uh-oh.
I think we might need to cancel Wesker.
I think he's been to one too many islands in his time.
Yeah.
Not a good look for Wesker. He might not be as good as a guy as we thought.
No, he's going to have to be canceled for this and nothing else.
So now I found something kind of funny while doing the research. The Breaking Bad Resident Evil paradox. While looking up info for this movie, one of the suggested searches on Google was Resident Evil Vendetta Breaking Bad, which I of course had to click on because I was very confused at how they could relate, and it led me to a Reddit thread where the initial post read, "So I've been rewatching Vendetta and it confirms one important thing. Breaking Bad exists in the Resident Evil universe and it was airing during the events of RE5, Revelations 2, Umbrella Corp, and RE6. Chris probably watched it during some free time after the events of RE6, while Leon is just missing out on a masterpiece." And then, of course, one commenter had to chime in saying, "There's actually a paradox here. You see, according to Vendetta, Breaking Bad is a television show inside the Resident Evil universe. However, in Breaking Bad Season 4, Episode 2, titled 38 Snub, it is confirmed that Resident Evil 4 is a video game inside the world of Breaking Bad."
Yeah, that's a real mindfuck. I don't have a lot of notes for this one, but one of the notes I did have is the Breaking Bad mention. Like, what happens is, like, Chris is riding in the helicopter with some of his buddies, and he mentions how they're talking about something that isn't Breaking Bad for once, and they're all like, "Oh, that show is great," which is so jarring, so strange. I don't know if any Resident Evil project ever has made reference to something like contemporary like that. Very weird.
Kind of reminds me of the last one where they were talking about the Wizard of Oz. Not quite the same, but it's not really like Resident Evil references real life media like that. Like they do have like the Porsche or whatever, but that's different. Like,
yeah, no, for sure. That it is really strange that it gets a mention here. And I wonder if that's in the Japanese version or if that's something that the localization team changed when they were doing the dub.
No, I think I read something because there was they actually had commentary for this one, and I didn't watch the movie with the commentary, but someone translated it all, and I was scrolling through it, and I think in one part they said that they wanted to have him talk about more movies and shows, but then they like cut it back. So they were like, no, you can only have like Breaking Bad. So they were even going to mention more than just Breaking Bad.
Oh, wow. Well, as far as this paradox goes, I think it can be explained that maybe a video game of Leon's experience against the Illuminados would be turned into a video game. Like this is like a documentary. Like that video game. The RE4 video game is based on true events.
Just imagining that Resident Evil takes place in the same world as Breaking Bad is hilarious.
Yeah, that breaks my brain a little bit. I don't want to think about that. I don't I can't even imagine actually.
How could the writers do this to us?
Yeah, I know.
I also found some funny IMDb trivia. In the laboratory attack scene, Rebecca hides under a desk, and she grabs a water bottle from it to drink from. Whilst the zombie attack is underway, scriptwriter Fakami was insistent it not be cut, as in the whole film, there's a lot of different fetishes involved, and she looked so sexy drinking it. She pops her head out after drinking. She looks so cute, like a hamster.
Okay.
And I read that, and it was like 3 a.m., and I had to do a double take. I was like, what?
Yeah, that is bizarre. I didn't really think about it until you just said that quote, but there's definitely some fetishy stuff going on here. I mean, like a direct part of the plot is this guy, trying to like he has like a fetish
for his dead wife.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll talk about it in the plot synopsis, but that makes sense. I was also going to say at some point that I think this is the best Resident Evil film we've watched so far.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was really good, actually. Like a huge step up from the other two CG films and the Wes and Paul W.S. Anderson. Damn it, Ken. Paul W.S. Anderson films. But I hesitate to say that now that this quote has been read.
There was also something in the commentary where the writer Fukumi Makoto mentioned that he had written Nadia's background and that she is a lesbian with a partner in San Francisco. Not that you would know who Nadia is, because I don't think they ever say her name.
No, they do. They do.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember who it was. I had to look it up.
I know it's one of Chris's squad members. Somebody yells her name out in the helicopter near the end, I remember. But I mean, the rest of Chris's team, including Nadia, who cares? Like, Chris is the only one who matters. Lesbian and in San Francisco. He was probably like, well, we want a gay character, but we don't want a gay man. No. It needs to be a gay woman. And, well, I know in America, San Francisco is supposed to be really gay, so that's where she's from.
Like, he's like, yes, this side character that no one cares about. I'm going to give her a backstory. We joke, and then she's going to show up in RE10.
Yeah, maybe she's been part of Chris's new squad the whole time. So let's move on to the state of movies and Resident Evil at the time of release. As far as films go, once again, within a 30-day window, we're looking at Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Snatched, King Arthur Legend of the Sword, Alien Covenant, Baywatch, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. I think that's the fifth one.
There's a fifth one?
Oh, yeah.
I thought they only got to 4.
I haven't seen it. Paul McCartney's in it. He plays a pirate or something. Wonder Woman, The Mummy, Cars 3, Transformers The Last Night, and Baby Driver. So a pretty big list of movies here.
What is Snatched?
I've definitely heard of that. Oh, yeah, it's an Amy Schumer movie. I remember this.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, besides that one and maybe King Arthur, it's actually pretty stacked. Like,
well, you don't like King Arthur?
Well, there's so many of those. I don't even know which one that is.
I think that's the one with the Charlie
Ritchie
Hunnam,
one?
the guy from Sons of Anarchy.
Well, I've never seen that one, so.
I haven't seen it either. But you were like, well, other than all of these, except King Arthur.
Other than one I haven't seen, and maybe Baywatch. But, like, I mean, you have an Alien movie, you have Guardians of the Galaxy, Pirates of the Caribbean, Wonder Woman,
Transformers, new Edgar Wright movie,
The Mummy. Well, maybe not The Mummy. Cars 3.
Cars 3, yeah.
If they release this in theaters, it probably would make like $5.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the finances looked like on this thing off the top of my head, but like the other two CG films, I don't think it got a North American release, so it wouldn't have been competing with any of these anyway. The Mummy, that's interesting. There's a lot to talk about with The Mummy. We'll have to put that in our back pocket for now. Resident Evil, there's no new games that we haven't already discussed. RE7 already came out this year. We talked about it last week on the final chapter episode. However, to promote the film, there was a virtual reality experience for PlayStation VR titled Resident Evil Vendetta Infected Experience. It was free, and the description for the game says you experience the events of the New York virus attack through the eyes of a civilian turned zombie. It's less a game and more a video, hence why they called it an experience. Is this still on the PlayStation Store?
I don't know.
It looks like it was a limited time thing and it's been delisted. I can't find exactly when it was delisted, but I don't see it on the PlayStation Store anymore. Let me see if it's on YouTube.
It's gotta be on YouTube. Someone had to.
I mean, you'd think, right? Okay, it's like 3 minutes long. There is a video of it on YouTube. It's not the best quality, but it's like you're just kind of watching it. It's like a theme park movie. Not like, the first episode of our show, but it's like a POV and it's like the camera's moving around. Yeah, I don't know. Not too much to say. I wish I could get it, but whatever.
Not too much about production for this. Just like the other CG films. They don't really go into too much detail about it.
Yeah.
Which means we can just move on to the plot synopsis and discussion. In 2014, BSAA agent Chris Redfield is tracking Glenn Arias, a former CIA operative turned arms dealer. Arias, wanting revenge against the US government for killing his friends and family in a drone strike at his wedding, is developing and smuggling bioweapons into the country. So Chris and other agents infiltrate a mansion in Mexico to rescue their missing undercover source, Kathy White. There, Chris's fellow agents are ambushed by zombies and death traps, with Chris being the sole survivor. Outside the mansion, Chris faces Arias, who reveals that Kathy has become a zombie under his control. As Arias leaves with his associates, father and daughter Diego and Maria Gomez, BSAA rescues Chris by slaughtering Kathy and the remaining zombie horde.
So I think this is the best villain that maybe the whole series has ever had. Like, I might need to qualify that and say the movies have ever had, but like, they launched a drone strike at his fucking wedding. And I'm not even clear as to why. I must have missed that dialogue.
I think just because he's an arms dealer. Or do you mean why they chose his wedding?
Well, both. But that's crazy. he has like real motivation. He's got more motivation than most of the villains in this franchise. And like he we'll see later in the movie, he goes toe to toe with Chris, you know, like hand to hand combat. And he's smart, he's charismatic. He's got a nice design. Yeah, I don't know. I really like this guy.
He definitely did stand out to me because, especially because that the last one, I mean, Buddy wasn't really the villain, so to say, but the fact that they actually revealed Arias's like backstory, even if it was like a short clip, when in the last one they just had Buddy's backstory told to us in like 5 lines, it like already made him more memorable.
Yeah, and even the secret antagonist of the prime minister or whatever, you know, she's just like, yeah, I'm doing this for money. I'm evil. And it's like, that's it. We don't really get a look into her life or her motivations. And we do get that here, which is, again, very novel for something from Resident Evil. Like, even thinking about the games, it's like Wesker's original motivation is probably just money. Like later it's established that like he was a clone child and you know he has like this anger towards Spencer or something. I don't know. I didn't play RE5 or Code Veronica. I don't know what the deal is with the cloning stuff. Maybe that was all Revelations too. All the games I haven't played. But like in the ones I have played, Wesker is just like a cartoonish villain. Like he doesn't have any real motivation. Birkin, I guess, has some pretty good motivation and like the Umbrella Corporation at large. But like I'm thinking about RE4 and the Los Illuminados, and it's like they're running a cult, and that's about as deep as it gets. RE7, Evelyn is like trying to, I don't know, her stated reason is that she wants a family, but all she does is turn people into evil pieces of shit and like puppeteers the Bakers. I mean, like as an antagonist in a gameplay sense, Jack Baker is a really good villain, but like narratively, he's, you know, kind of a nothing. And then I don't know, like this, you know what I mean? Like these are not games known for like their villains. Like even the most iconic of villains, they're very flat. They don't have like backstory and motivation oftentimes.
I think part of it that doesn't help is that they don't like get that many chances to actually have a villain because a lot of them is just like the overarching kind of Wesker plot.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but like even the villains that they do have, they don't seem to often go into their backstory that much or make them at least a little sympathetic, which I think kind of helps in this case.
Yeah. And I do think RE7's got that, the sympathy angle.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not revealed until like near the end of the game, or if you're playing the DLC where you're playing as Zoe. And I do like that because it shows that Lucas was a piece of shit even before Evelyn showed up. And I think he's one of the best villains in the series because he's just such a shithead. And like his motivations are just as shallow, but like he knows what he is. Like he doesn't have any grander ambitions. He's just fucking with people like Jigsaw. I like that Diego is like this weird hunchback guy. I thought he was just a straight up zombie at first, but later that's clearly not the case.
What the fuck happened to him?
I don't know. I don't know. He got really fucked up, and I'm shocked we didn't get an explanation for that by the time the movie was over. But he's got a really cool design. I liked him.
When they first showed him, I said, who's this big Titan Joker looking ass motherfucker?
Yeah, seriously. Hunchback of Notre Dame injected with the fucking T-virus or something.
For a second, I thought it was, there's a character in RE6 who kind of looks like him. And maybe that's supposed to be kind of like a tie-in, because they do kind of look similar. They're both like really huge, bulky guys. But, I mean, they don't point it out, so maybe it's just a coincidence. What did you think of the infiltration of the mansion? Because here they try to do horror.
It was okay. The beginning didn't grab me that much. I don't know. I guess I've seen too many infiltrations from Chris and a bunch of military guys at this point for me to be super hooked on that by itself. I like the torso jumping around. Like,
oh yeah, that was weird.
That was the part that I really loved. I do like, you know, the idea of setting part of one of these stories in Mexico, even if it's just for a scene or two.
It's kind of weird they did put it in Mexico because there's literally no reason for it to be there.
No, not really.
I did think it was kind of weird that they walk into this mansion and like, even I know it's like a 1-to-1 recreation of the RE1 mansion, right? And Chris doesn't mention it at all.
Is that what happened? I don't remember that at all.
I'm pretty sure that because it has the walkway above, like in the middle of the room, and there's all the rooms on the side and stuff. I don't know. I thought it was.
Let me see. Okay, so I'm rewatching the clip and I think you're right. This does look like the RE1 mansion. It's got the, yeah, oh my God. How did I not notice this? It's got the red carpet down the middle and the painting in the back. Oh my God. I completely missed this. I feel like such an idiot.
I thought they'd have Chris like have Vietnam flashbacks or something, but he doesn't even mention it. So I don't know if they did it as like intentional or not, or they were like, "Oh, we already have this mansion already. We'll just use it."
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, that's cool. That's unusual. I don't have any other notes, really.
You don't have any other notes about this part?
No.
Not even the reference to the Paul W.S. Anderson movies?
What are you talking about?
When they run out into the razor wire and get chopped up into pieces?
Okay, full disclosure for the audience, I am running on like no sleep right now, and I just watched the movie before we started recording, so I may have missed a bunch of stuff, especially at the beginning. Because I think when I got hooked is when we got the backstory for Arias. Oh, I don't remember that. Fuck.
Yeah, they mention it in the commentary too. They say it was a direct reference to the 2002 live action film.
Well, there you go.
Because I was watching it and I was like, do we think this is a reference? Because they do, they get chopped up into little cubes. But yeah, this opening, like, I don't know, it was okay. I felt like it could have gone a little faster.
Yeah, that's why I think I wasn't paying attention to that stuff, is I just was kind of like getting bored because I don't know, I don't think any of these movies, the CG movies, are scary.
No.
Like, I think the scariest they were was probably the airport after the plane crash. But even then, like, you're going in with a bunch of military guys with fully automatic weapons, and none of them are like named people you care about except Leon or Chris or whatever. And obviously those people are not going to die because they're in the games. So it's like, it's hard for me to get invested in anything they do that's supposed to be scary, because it's like, I know Chris is going to walk out of here and I don't really care about the rest of the people that he's with.
Yeah, it just kind of sucks. And it's a problem I have with the series as a whole. And I think I brought it up before, is their treatment of side characters. Because when you're introduced to a side character in these games or movies, there's like a 90% chance they're going to die. So it's like hard to get invested in them.
Yeah.
And we have all these unnamed soldiers that are going to this house. I'm like, okay, they're all going to die. If some of them truly survived, then there would actually be a reason for there to be like fear. But just knowing they're all probably going to die a horrible death, I'm just like, yeah, just get it over with.
Or even just introduce these people earlier and give them some personality and some time to sit with the audience before putting them into situations like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because Degeneration opens with the squad going into the airport, and then Steve Bloom's character dies, and we don't give a shit because we don't really know the guy at all. But like, if that were to happen later in the film, or his character was introduced earlier, we would actually feel something when he dies.
Yeah, like JD.
Yeah, like JD.
It did make me laugh when they had the shot of Chris holding Kathy's like body as just there's explosions behind him, and then they do like the same thing with Arias when they do his flashback. And it's so like over the top, and it made me laugh.
I was getting more Metal Gear vibes in this movie as well. That specific shot of like Arias looking up and screaming
yeah,
in the wreckage of his bombed wedding is pulled straight from one of the trailers from Metal Gear Solid 5.
I'll also give them props for having a kid zombie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I totally forgot about that too. I don't think they've ever had a kid zombie before.
Not that I can think of.
So 4 months later, Professor Rebecca Chambers, former STARS unit member and survivor of the Arklay Mansion incident, studies the new animality virus, A virus for short, that can lay dormant inside any individual until the right trigger is presented. The virus has 3 components: the base virus, the triggering virus, and the vaccine. Maria attacks the research labs and releases the virus via aerosol form. While her colleagues turn into zombies, Rebecca formulates a vaccine to make herself immune and is eventually rescued by Chris and his BSAA team, DC, Damien, and Nadia. He briefs her on his mission. You know, like we talked about it already, but I thought it was really cool to see Rebecca again. It's nice that, like, she's not sidelined, you know? Like, I guess later she does sort of become a damsel in distress, which sucks. But it's nice to see her, like, as a competent person. Like, she's a genius. Like, she comes up with the vaccine for the A virus right here on the spot. And it's like, okay, well, it totally makes sense why somebody like this would be like the doctor of the STARS unit and to be on the unit at such a young age. I really like Rebecca. I wish she was in more stuff. Just another woman in Resident Evil who's completely sidelined for more Leon and Chris shit.
Yeah, I've never had experience with Rebecca because I haven't played 1 or 0, but I really liked her even from like her introduction, and I couldn't really like put my finger on it, like why I liked her character. It just felt like she didn't seem kind of like a stereotypical like Resident Evil like female character. Like I don't know, I don't know how to explain it, but I liked her character throughout the film, and it's interesting that she's not like Jill or Claire, where she's like spinning guns around and killing zombies.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting that she feels like a fully formed character, but she's also not an action hero. Like she is technically the protagonist of RE0, but you know, like that's one game. And she's not doing shit like blowing up Nemesis with a railgun. God, do you remember the part later where Leon gets thrown in the air by Diego and he's doing like mid-air pot shots at him while he's falling from the sky?
Yeah, that was awesome.
And then he does like an axe kick into Diego. Rebecca's not doing any of that kind of shit, and I'm glad because it just makes her feel more distinct from the other protagonists. I really want to try her coffee order. That sounds so good right now. Because what do they say it was? It's like a caramel macchiato with whipped cream and chocolate chips.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Chris's voice threw me off in this too.
I also felt that. Yeah, he's not I mean maybe he is, but I don't think it's the guy who plays him in 5 and 6, Roger Craig Smith.
No, it's not Sonic.
Yeah.
It's a different guy. It's like his voice is like more high pitched, and I feel like I'm used to him being kind of like gruff and lower.
Yeah, for sure.
He sounds like kind of upbeat in this almost. It was a little unnerving. He's like, Rebecca.
Yeah, he sounded familiar though. I'm gonna look up who played Chris in this. Kevin Dorman. I'm looking at his IMDb and it's a lot of additional voices. Oh, he plays Leon in Resident Evil Damnation.
Okay. Well,
and now he's playing Chris.
Interesting.
Wait, no, that's not right. I think IMDb is just wrong. It says this guy is Leon, but when I click on Damnation, it says it's Matthew Mercer.
Yeah, because that was definitely Matthew Mercer, because I think we brought it up.
I don't know. I thought I had recognized him from something, but it seems like he just does a lot of miscellaneous voices in movies and games, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, no, I agree. He definitely doesn't sound consistent, and it is kind of noticeable. Not his fault. I don't think he does a bad job in the performance.
It's just we're used to.
Yeah, we're used to Roger Craig Smith.
Rebecca recognizes the zombie's loyalty to the host and makes a connection to Las Plagas, the bioweapon used by the Los Illuminados, who Division of Security Operations, DSO, agent Leon S. Kennedy once encountered in Europe, theorizing that the remaining members of the cult are providing information to Arias in developing the A-virus. She, alongside Chris, heads to Colorado to bring Leon on board, but he is unwilling at first after experiencing guilt on having to kill the infected SWAT team sent to back him up during the viral outbreak disguised as a bomb threat, and his repetitive experiences. Long-ass sentences here. During this conversation, Maria and Diego attack the trio. They successfully capture Rebecca, while Chris and Leon, who agree to help finish the mission, devise a rescue operation, decrypting Arias' plan of a large-scale viral attack on New York City.
Yeah, I like the consistency of the last movie and this movie showing that Leon is an alcoholic. Like, I don't know if that's ever referenced in RE6, but we do see it in Damnation. He's picking up the bottle, and he's still picking up the bottle.
I don't remember if it was mentioned in 6, but I feel like it has to be, because it's kind of like a huge beat to not have at least somewhat present in it.
Yeah, I agree. Also, I noticed he's wearing the same jacket he was wearing in Degeneration with the white stripes down the side. I swear it's the same one. Maybe he wears that in RE6 too. I think he might.
I think he does.
Yeah, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
But I think he wore it in Degeneration first.
Maybe.
Okay, I was wrong. He doesn't have the white stripes down the side of his Degeneration jacket.
Oh, you lied to me.
I know. I'm sorry.
God damn it.
In Damnation, he's wearing the vest. Okay, ignore me. I guess I just thought, leather jacket, it must be the same.
I noticed he looked like a fucking frontman for a rock band. Like he had guy liner on.
All right, well, come on, that's always Leon.
I feel, well, he gave off like more of that in this. I don't know why. Like he looked like he should be at like a bar singing for a rock band.
So this takes place after RE6, right?
Yeah.
What's the deal with the shit going on between Chris and Leon? They're butting heads, you know?
I feel like they just like to make them butt heads because they're the two main guys of the franchise, and they're like, The fans love this.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I think it does make it more interesting to have that dynamic.
They do kind of butt heads in 6. I don't quite remember like them arguing like what they were arguing about, but there's some contention between them in 6. And I guess we don't really know how much they really know of each other, or like how much they've actually met each other. Because I think when they meet in 6, it kind of sounds like they've maybe met like once or twice before. But
Okay. I like that Leon is like also kind of sympathetic towards Arias. He's like, yeah, you guys blew up his wedding with a drone. I like how he's like, so who's the real villain here? And Chris is like, fuck you. That's good. We get Diego using the giant minigun.
hilarious.
Maria, does she just choke Rebecca out, or does she use chloroform, or is it just she drags her away in a headlock?
No, she knocks her out somehow.
Okay. Yeah.
Also, she's the baddie I was talking about, Maria.
Yeah.
Certified Resident Evil baddie.
She looks almost exactly the same as the prime minister or president from Damnation.
She kind of does. It also made me laugh at one point when they show her walking and just like she's wearing this like leather one piece like suit, and I'm like, this is so weird to wear.
It looked like something Alice would wear.
I thought that too. Yeah. I don't know, maybe they were kind of taking notes from that.
I mean, they've already admitted that they took inspiration from it for the wire slicing the guy up at the beginning.
The one part she's walking and I'm like, she just looks like that looks so uncomfortable. Give her something nicer to wear. She looks stiff as a board.
That's very considerate of you to be thinking about. And then yeah, a large scale viral attack on New York City. That's pretty crazy. I mean, like again, I know RE6 they have like a big outbreak in China, but like I don't know, New York, that's pretty cool. That's pretty scary.
I think it also helps that we haven't actually seen them go to real cities before. But in this one, they mention Chicago and then they go to New York.
That's true. Yeah, the country in Damnation is completely made up. Degeneration, same thing. Like it's not a real airport. Raccoon City's not real. The place he goes to in RE4 is nondescript. It's just somewhere in Europe. I do think in RE8 they say it's Romania, but like there's no actual city. You know, It's all just. Yeah, no, you're right. It is weird to see these characters in a real place.
And just knowing how big of a city New York is to like the whole world.
Oh,
like
yeah.
even if it was like London or like
Yeah.
Tokyo.
Yeah, it'd be the same thing. Like,
yeah.
Just a major hub.
But yeah, it definitely also ups the stakes because if they were like, I don't know, Scottsville is under attack. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
some fake city.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm just gonna go ahead and read the next paragraph.
Oh, can I read one thing I have?
Yeah.
From the commentary track. Apparently there's a scene later in the film where they were going to return to Leon's hotel, and it was cut because the CG team complained about the prevalence of burger eating in the scene, as it would be too difficult to make an entire meal seem convincing.
Oh man.
And then Sugimoto insisted that they at least keep Rebecca drinking coffee and water in the lab, which we know why you wanted that to be kept in, but I just thought that was funny, especially because it reminded me of the hamburger from RE2 remake.
Oh yeah, just 2 years later, one of the most disgusting looking hamburgers in the world.
You say disgusting, I think amazing. But.
No, I mean it's both. Like I would definitely eat it, but that looks so disgusting. It looks so greasy and like messy. Yeah, I'd eat that burger.
You probably got it from a gas station. You know, gas station burgers, I've had one before.
Oh, I've had plenty of Speedway burgers. Trust me. I understand.
I feel like those ones aren't that bad, though.
They don't look like that.
I got one time because me and my friends were trying different random food from around the town. And we got these hamburgers from this place called Street Side Burger in a gas station. And we got lettuce on them, and the lettuce was soaked with grease. But it was nice because we took the lettuce out. So then it wasn't as greasy. But my friend didn't get lettuce on his burger. And he was like, this is the most greasiest thing I've ever eaten. I can't even eat this.
That's foul.
Literally, like the lettuce, I took it out of my hamburger. It was like soaked and it was like flopping all over.
Oh.
They had good French fries, though.
Okay.
And that was my story time.
Arias then challenges Chris to rescue Rebecca, who is injected with a vaccine-resistant virus that threatens to turn her into a zombie as part of his personal plan to restart his failed wedding. As Arias' associates initiate their attack on New York by releasing the virus-laden gas via tankers, Leon and Chris's BSAA team destroy the vehicles and contain the virus, incapacitating Maria in the process, but Damien is killed by zombie dogs. Always with the zombie dogs. I really liked this. This was cool. Like, the outbreak in New York does kind of happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it's probably in the next paragraph, but there's like a 9/11 level.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the next one.
I don't even, I'm skimming through it. I don't think it's mentioned by name. So I'm just going to say it now. There's a part where I think it's Nadia, right?
Yeah.
Uses a fucking railgun and shoots it through like 8 skyscrapers in a row.
Yeah, that made me gasp and laugh out loud because it's so over the top. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck?
It was insane. And it's like the kind of thing that you would never see in like an American movie because of how sensitive we were about 9/11 for so long.
Well, it's okay though, because in the commentary track, they make it very clear that the city's been evacuated, so there's no innocent people in those skyscrapers.
Okay, great. Sounds like Man of Steel.
I don't know how they could evacuate it in time, but whatever.
Yeah, 8 million people. Yeah.
That was shocking to me because, like, they did not need to do all that.
No, they didn't.
And it was a rail. Like, I know railguns are supposed to be, like, destructive, but it was knocking them over.
Yeah, the buildings were, like, torn in half.
And exploding.
People absolutely died. Absolutely, people died. There were people in the street who were, like, turning because of the virus. They were probably smashed by debris.
Well, the zombies don't count.
Okay, sure. I mean, they're cured also. That's the other crazy thing is this guy, before Requiem, invents a virus that has a cure to it. Yeah, no, I thought this was fun. We talked about it a little bit already, but Leon has like it reminded me very much of Devil May Cry. And which, you know, it's funny because Leon and Dante were originally the same character. Like the original version of RE4 was supposed to be Devil May Cry. And then they were like, well, this feels too different. We'll make it its own franchise. And thus Leon became Dante, and they just split it off into its own thing. So it's funny to see Leon doing these like acrobatic like kicks and gun fu things when he's fighting Diego. I love how you can see the personality like difference between Chris and Leon because they're given like Chris is given a Humvee and then Leon is given a sports bike.
That made me laugh so hard when he's like, this is all they could give us. And it's like their perfect vehicles.
Yeah. I love Chris's expression too. I don't know if you caught that, but he like raises his eyebrows and bites his lips and like his eyes pop out of his head and he just looks at Leon and does like a Jim face from The Office.
And then they go down like that insane hill.
Yeah.
That definitely would not exist in New York.
What do you mean? It's all sorts of hilly in Manhattan. No, I liked it. I thought it was fun. It sucks that Rebecca is kind of incapacitated, but also at the same time, the shit with the wedding is really creepy and cool and weird.
Now he has all the guests in the boxes, right? That's because that's what I was getting from it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think so. But the idea that like this guy is so hung up on that traumatic event that he's trying to recreate it now, and that, you know, it's not just that he admires Rebecca for creating a vaccine on her own to the virus, but that she just happens to look exactly like his dead wife. It's so weird, and it like for a different kind of villain, like this would just be something really lame. Like I'd roll my eyes at, but I do think it's interesting because this guy did seem to have like perfectly reasonable motivation, and he still does have a good reason to go after the BSAA and stuff like that. But he's also got this weird shit going on in the background that Rebecca gets sucked into.
I almost would have liked him to maybe like be a bit more over the top.
I don't know.
Like maybe at the end, because like here he kind of goes. We see him go off the deep end, which it also made me laugh because Rebecca is like chained to a chair in a wedding dress, and then he's like, "You look just like my wife," and she's like, "Wait, where are you going with this?" I'm like, "Where do you think he's going with this? You're at a wedding and you're wearing a wedding dress." But I don't know, like maybe just a touch more crazy.
I think it was the right amount for me. I think if he was more over the top, I probably would have rolled my eyes.
It'd be too cheesy.
Yeah, like he would have just turned into like Wesker or something. Total global saturation, you know, that kind of shit. And I I think they struck a good balance here because he still seems like a reasonable guy, even when he's talking about marrying Rebecca. And he's like holding his dead wife's arm in front of her, and he's like, "Oh, this is my wife. This was my fiance." He seems put together, and I think it's more disturbing that he's treating it all like it's normal.
Mhm.
That's more disturbing to me and more interesting to me than if he were like wackier.
Yeah, that's true. Can we talk about the zombie dogs chase scene?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I think I have some problems with it.
Okay, go on.
Leon like indirectly murders like 10 people.
Yeah, well, they're zombies or whatever, so it's fine.
No, they're in cars. They're driving on the freeway.
Maybe they're driving zombies.
It kind of reminded me of the Batman, where Batman's chasing the Penguin on the freeway and he like plows through a fucking oil tanker and like knocks cars off the freeway
Oh, it's fine.
and like doesn't acknowledge it. And then Leon does like he shoots one of the zombie dogs and then it goes under a car, which somehow makes it flip up. And then it explodes when it lands, and he just kind of looks at it like smiling.
Leon is vengeance.
That, and then I messaged you and I said one of the craziest things just happened, and it was when he shot. So he's driving his motorcycle, and for some reason he puts his foot on the handbrake and starts driving with his foot on the gas and the handbrake.
Yes.
And he shoots a sign. It falls, hits the dog, clearly probably dead. But no, he's just going to take a grenade, chuck it behind him, sit with his foot on the brake still, and then like aura farm as it blows up behind him.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's like Devil May Cry. It's like completely over the top, just super silly. And, they're working on like not rebooting really, but the tone of the games, right? And they do mention a tonal reboot with these movies, or this movie in particular. But like RE7 is so different than RE6 in terms of its tone and the action and stuff. This continues the tradition of RE6, I think, with the over-the-top action, just the complete ridiculousness. So it's interesting that, like, Capcom's aware it's a problem. They're aware of it because RE7 is a course correction, but they're still doing it in movie form.
I wonder if it's kind of like a way where they're like, yeah, we can have our cake and eat it too. Like, we can continue this for people who like it, but also if they want a scarier experience, we could do 7.
Yeah.
I also kind of wonder if it's just due to that being developed probably after 6, maybe before 7.
Yeah, it's possible that the people in charge of the movie had no idea that 7 was going to be so different from what was the status quo at the time.
I'd like to see maybe Death Island. That'll be like a better test to see if they kind of changed the movie formula to match the games a bit more, if it's more grounded.
Yeah, that's true.
The action of this, I didn't hate it. I actually really liked it. It was really like smooth, but it's definitely a little over the top.
I agree. I thought it was very entertaining. Like so much better than the action in Degeneration and Damnation. Like Damnation has a couple good action scenes, but it's mostly zombies fighting each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then this, it's like, yeah, Leon is doing some crazy shit. And then there's that fight between Chris and Arias, which is fun.
I think it also helps that a lot of the fighting isn't against like giant enemies like in some of the other movies, but they have like that whole scene in the hallway where it's like Leon and Chris just fighting zombies and they're like killing them in really cool ways, but like it's just normal zombies. It's not like a giant bane.
Yeah, I think that definitely helps. I thought when you texted me about the crazy thing, I thought you were talking about the railgun destroying like several blocks of New York.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy too. I hadn't seen that part yet though.
Okay.
Chris, later joined by Leon, then infiltrates Arias' safe house, defeats Diego, and rescues Rebecca. On the terrace, Chris engages Arias in combat and throws him through a glass terrace to his demise. Diego then arrives and, despite being badly injured after being defeated by Chris, merges with Arias to form a new tyrant monster. Chris is no match against the tyrant until Leon joins the fight after working through the safe house, mowing down zombies. With the assistance of DC and Nadia, they trap the tyrant before Leon and Chris kill it. They locate the antidote that Arias kept and cure Rebecca before escaping by helicopter. The team then spreads the antidote across the city to cure the rest of the infected. Meanwhile, Maria, later revealed to be alive, discovers her now dead father. They're calling it a tyrant. I don't know if it was a tyrant.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think they just mean like big monster. Cause,
yeah, pretty
well,
much.
I guess it does have the claws though.
Yeah, but so does a liquor.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I wouldn't call it a tyrant. I thought the claws were really weird. They kind of like sprout out of nowhere and they get so long
Yeah.
and they're like retractable and it's like, where are they going? I know I'm overthinking it.
It was a cool design. I knew for certain because they killed Arias so fast, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna come back. And also, it's this classic Resident Evil that the villain like dies and then gets mutated.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, we've kind of talked about a lot of this already. The fight between Chris and Arias, it's pretty good. The fight with Diego, yeah, where his chest turns into like a miniature sun for a second when he explodes. Yeah, it's good. It's good action. Like, I don't know what else to say. There's not a lot of like interesting plot stuff going on at this point. It's just like they rescue Rebecca. She's cured. They escape by helicopter. And I do like how Rebecca says something like, we're in the same position we've been in for like the past 20 years. It's like we blew up all these fucking monsters and we're on a helicopter and shit has not changed. And I thought that was very poignant.
She's like, I did not miss this.
Yeah.
There's the part where Leon, he has his motorcycle, and then he rides it up an elevator, rides it down the hall, and then he brings it up to the roof. And it just reminded me of like in Battlefield when people would take the ATVs up the elevator onto the roof and like run people over up there. Because he's just driving on the roof like there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And then he uses it he like drives it. At first I thought he was going to drive it off the roof.
Yeah, me too.
And I was like, this is a little over the top even for me. But then he didn't. And I was like, okay. I looked it up and the cliffhanger ending kind of ties into the next movie. So.
Oh, does it?
I guess Maria comes back in the next one.
That's interesting because none of the animated movies have had continuity so far.
Did you like them being able to cure the infection so easily?
Well, yeah, I do. I think it's interesting because like it doesn't open a whole can of worms because it's not the T virus. And like, I guess they mentioned some sort of connection to Las Plagas, but I think that's more just like a parallel. I don't think Las Plagas is involved in the production at all. They go to see Leon because of Las Plagas, but yeah, it's like different. It's not, they're just like, well, this guy has fought this kind of thing before.
Mm-hmm.
But it, like the A virus is its own thing. And so curing it at the end kind of tidies that up, but it still lets us get away with having like a citywide outbreak in New York, which is pretty good. I'm all for it. Like if this was something, it doesn't like that's my thing is like if it complicated the lore and asked the question like how come there aren't cures for everything by this point, then yeah, I would have a problem with it.
I think it helps that they kind of explained that this infection is like a 3-stage process. And then so like being able to like vaccinate or turn them back makes sense kind of.
That's the other thing is like the cure was designed from the onset. Mm-hmm. Like Arias had already designed the cure as part of the process when he designed the virus. But when you look at like the T virus and Las Plagas and stuff, they didn't want a cure. Like the cure was never even in consideration. Like that's not, I mean, 9 retcons that a little bit, but like this is something that was designed from the onset to not be out of control.
And I think that's kind of the virus in this movie is actually pretty cool because it's in this 3 stages. And then, yeah, they have the vaccine for it as part of the plan because that's how they know not to attack people is through the vaccine. I just thought that it was kind of a cool change of pace.
I agree. Making it like the Manchurian Candidate kind of was cool. I liked it. The whole sleeper agent thing was fun.
I think it was nice, too, that they were able to cure everyone because so many times in this franchise, they don't get a win like that. And it's kind of nice to just see them get a win like that, where they're able to turn everyone back. And it's kind of a feel-good ending.
I agree. So did it work? Did the rebooted tone of this film work better than the tone of the other 2 films? I would say it's about the same. I don't really, like we talked about this already, but it's like I don't really think that there's a rebooted tone here.
If anything, it's just a bit more cheesy.
Yeah, if anything, it just continues the cheesiness and over-the-top action of Damnation and RE6. So it feels very consistent with what we have so far. I mean, it doesn't feel consistent with RE7, but that's not really what they were going for. Did this feel like it fits into the Resident Evil universe? Yeah, definitely. And like maybe some people will have a problem with the A virus even existing, but it's like they have new viruses popping up like every other fucking game. Who cares? And it resolves itself. I think the villain is very Resident Evil. The characters are all behaving like themselves. Like this is Resident Evil for sure. And it's got more going on. Like, this is the first of the animated films where I was actually engaged watching it past a certain point anyway, versus the other two where it was just kind of like watching cutscene compilations on YouTube. Like, this one felt more like a real movie. Just the structure of it even feels more like a real movie.
I totally agree.
You know, like the lowest point and simultaneously like the climax is in the New York City fight, and that happens structurally like the same way it would in any 3-act film. But the other two don't feel like they're structured like movies at all. Degeneration and Damnation feel way more like they're speed running through one of the games with like the locations and the structure, and it didn't work as well. This works.
Yeah, I thought this one had like almost perfect pacing.
Yeah.
Like it felt really good and secure in the movie format in a way that the other two didn't.
Definitely. And it's weird because like you had complained to me like this movie is longer than the other two. It's like an hour 47 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I was worried about that too, and it's like no, the pacing, like you said, it's perfect. In Degeneration and Damnation, there were definitely times where I was checking my watch. Like,
oh yeah.
There were some real fucking dragging scenes in there, but not really here.
Yeah, something about this one just felt more like Resident Evil. And I don't know if I can fully put a finger on why. Maybe it's just because Chris and Leon were in it, but which I liked the inclusion of Chris and Rebecca in this because as much as I like Leon, the other two movies were all about him. And it's nice to see someone else in it.
I couldn't agree more. Like, I love Leon as well, but I really don't like how they've made him like the de facto protagonist, especially in these movies. I'm so glad it was Chris, and to see Rebecca again was really nice.
I actually was kind of worried for Rebecca for a second. Like, I thought she might actually die.
And you know what? Maybe I could totally see that too, because like she is a game protagonist, but she also hasn't been playable in a new story in 15 years. So it's like, if they were going to kill a protagonist from the games, Rebecca would probably be the choice.
Yeah, because Claire is Chris's sister. Jill is like Chris's partner. But Rebecca's kind of like, yeah, she's part of the STARS team, but she's kind of removed.
Yeah. And she hasn't really been mentioned much or been playable at all in so long. Everyone else they've kind of touched base with recently.
Yeah, and I thought this movie totally worked. Definitely my favorite out of the animated ones. And probably better than any of these movies, any of the Resident Evil movies. I think you're right.
Yeah, like better than all the Paul W.S. Anderson movies. Better than Welcome to Raccoon City, which, you know, the episode on that we haven't released yet, but we've recorded it already. Because just like Damnation, we are recording this one way later than most of the other ones.
It's fine.
Because these last couple animated films kind of snuck up on us.
If the other ones are like this, though, I'd be much more inclined to like actually watch them.
Yeah. And that's not to say it's like perfect 10 out of 10, but
it's enjoyable.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable. I agree.
The other ones weren't as enjoyable.
No, they had their moments, but this one is consistent. And it really does feel the most like just a traditional film. So I guess moving on from Digital Frontier was the right call.
Or maybe even the writers, because it's different writers this time.
Yeah.
And I do kind of wonder, we have to look back probably. Do they have writers from the games? Because I feel like maybe the writers from the games aren't as used to writing for shorter form content like maybe a movie writer would be. And that's why this one feels more complete.
Maybe. I'll look it up. It's just written by Makoto Fukami, and it says here that he did screenwriting for Psycho-Pass the movie. I have no idea what this is.
That's an anime. Psycho-Pass is an anime.
He worked on, he works, like he's not dead. He's a manga artist, novelist, and screenwriter.
Okay.
He's done a bunch of manga.
Actually, did he make Psycho-Pass itself?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did.
Okay. So, yeah, I've heard of that one before. I heard it's really good. I haven't seen it, but...
Worked on the Berserk anime in the mid-2010s. Magical Girls Spec Ops. I don't know what that is. I haven't heard of like any of these. But he does have a pretty big resume. It says he's also working on a new Silent Hill game, which is supposed to come out next year, called Roverton. I have not heard of this.
I've heard of Townfall. Is that the Scottish one or whatever?
Maybe it's bullshit. There's no source next to it. So
is the name in blue?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, we should move on to the critical response and box office.
For the critical audience response, on Rotten Tomatoes, this movie has a critic score of 43% and an audience score of 50%. which seems low to me, and I think that's lower than the other films.
Let me pull it up. I got it right here. So Rotten Tomatoes for Damnation was 100%. But I think that's because it was like 5 people from some no-name outlets or whatever. The audience was 70%. So people like
Oh my
Damnation
God.
more than this. Audience for Degeneration was 57 versus this one's 50. 67% critically versus this one's 43. So this is the lowest rated of the animated films by critics and audiences on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I disagree with that completely.
I feel the same way.
It seems that the Resident Evil films have a strange way of dividing audiences, because a lot of the Anderson movies were like shockingly high too.
Yeah.
Maybe not shockingly high, but like
No, I would say shockingly high. Some of them were like in the high 60s or low 70s. And there's people out there who think that like Retribution is a genuinely great movie, and they're out of their fucking minds.
or the final chapter having a critic score of like 55, the highest of the franchise.
Yeah. The worst movie in the hexology or sextology or whatever.
On Metacritic, it doesn't have a meta score because not enough registered critics have reviewed it, but it has a user score of 6.9.
So this is the only one of the animated films we've discussed so far that has a user score on Metacritic. I couldn't find one for Degeneration or Damnation, but 6.9 is higher than all of the Paul W. Anderson films, tied with the first movie, which also had a user score of 6.9. And not to spoil it too bad, but going forward, 6.9 will remain the highest user score for the rest of the series.
I mean, I think I'd push this one to stop a little bit, just so it's not even at the same level as the first Resident Evil Anderson movie. But
I agree. No cinema score, because it wasn't released in theaters in the United States.
And box office budget, can't find it. Didn't open domestically, so no opening weekend. No domestic gross, no international gross. They ran it like, I think for what, like 2 weeks in Japan or something, because we have a total box office here of $256,320.
Yeah.
Now that sounds like a one night thing. I don't know. That's not that much money.
Probably.
And then as for net profit, all we have is that it reportedly earned $1.6 million from home release sales, continuing the free fall of DVD and Blu-ray sales for these direct-to-video CG animated Resident Evil films.
Yeah, like when you look at Degeneration, it made over 11 million from home release. Damnation made 3, and we're looking at 1.6. So this continues to make less and less money.
I'm kind of shocked because I feel like Resident Evil as a franchise isn't necessarily starved for content, but it's not like flush and like overflowing where you're like, I don't need to watch this. I feel like people would buy this on DVD or Blu-ray.
Maybe. Like, I agree. I think if you're a big Resident Evil fan, you'd probably pick it up. But it's also, like we've talked about for this whole series, mostly in regards to the Paul W.S. Anderson films, the landscape has shifted. People don't buy DVDs and Blu-rays. Like, people do. Some people do, even today. But at this point, we're in 2017 and streaming is king. So, when it's the choice of buying a Blu-ray that'll cost like 30 or 40 bucks for a CG Resident Evil film, or just waiting for it to come to Netflix or Crunchyroll or something, like, I think a lot of people, Japan or US or whatever, if they have those options, they're probably just going to wait. Because it's like you said, like, they're not starved for content. This is the same year that RE7 comes out. There's already a bunch of Resident Evil films, live action and animated. And, maybe not a bunch animated, but, a couple of them. I don't know. This is not something I would go out of my way to buy on Blu-ray, but maybe the super fans would.
I guess also I wonder if it kind of is impacted because, it's like made in Japan. And I wonder if they're not released at the same time as here as in Japan.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
A lot of like the anime movies, even though they're like so big now, they still don't release here until like months later. And especially like releasing on streaming or even just like releasing to rent or whatever, it's like months, like 6 months.
Yeah.
But the movie's already been out.
And I have one other theory as to why the sales continue to drop. And I think it might just be because the novelty of the CG movie format has worn off. Like, I think a lot of people view it as like outdated. Like, it doesn't look as good as a live action film would, or a traditional like hand-drawn animated film. And like, it was cool when it was Biohazard 40 Executor, like the turn of the century, turn of the millennia. But and even with Degeneration, I guess in 2008, like it's still kind of a new thing. Like people don't really do that. But now it's like, I don't know. I think people in 2017 would rather just see another live action film or maybe an animated film, like traditional animation, like an anime Resident Evil film.
Like a more stylized, maybe.
Yeah, like I don't think there's any basis to support what I'm saying here, but I think personally, growing up as a kid, I had heard about these animated Resident Evil films, and the fact that they were like computer generated animation was kind of off-putting to me. Like if they were like anime movies, then like the Devil May Cry anime, for example, and like Phoenix Wright had an anime, and Mega Man had a bunch of anime, but Resident Evil never did. It's like if they had done something like that instead, I think it might have drawn in some more people and maybe age better too. Like I don't think this is a bad looking movie at all. I don't think any of the CG ones, except Biohazard 40 Executor, look bad, but you know what I'm saying? Like they do age less gracefully than traditional animation.
I thought this one looked pretty good still.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, by this point it's 2017, but it's also like, I don't know, this isn't novel anymore. And I guess it's cheaper to produce, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it looks worse than the games at this point. RE7 looks incredible. This doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look RE7 good. Despite this attempt at an animated Resident Evil film not reaching the same performance or ratings as the first two, it was profitable enough or popular enough to greenlight 2 more animated projects set in the same universe. The first of which we'll be talking about in next week's episode, Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to give us a rating, share it with your friends, and leave us a comment if you've seen Resident Evil Vendetta, or just any other thoughts you have. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I personally love reading the comments that we get. Yeah, don't be shy.
Comment or else.
We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.